Hi everyone, it's Mara Shlomo. We are up to our last video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the Hagaddah. The Hagaddah, which mine looks like this, the one I use at home, the Hagaddah pretty much gives you everything that you're going to do at the Seder. It talks about what you're going to do, and it talks about like the Pesach story and just everything in there, all the prayers, all the blessings, everything. And mine, the reason I like mine is because it gives all the directions. It has a lot of Hebrew, but it gives a lot of the directions in English too. So I'm going to run through everything. I made myself a little paper one so I don't forget what to go through, what to say to you guys. Okay, it says Pesach Hagaddah, Hagaddah Shel Pesach. Pesach, Hagaddah for Pesach. So our first thing I want to go through, and my pages are detachable. So when it's time to start the Seder in my house, I can tell you about my house. What the first thing we do is that we sing the song, like the introduction song, which we already did on a different video, the one that goes Kadesh Orchatz Karpas Yachatz Magin Rachsa Motzi Matzah Maror Koresh Shulchan Orech Tzafon Barech Halel Nirtzah. And my wife will use the other tune. You could check my other video for that. Now, so here are the different parts of the Seder. First part, Kadesh. You like it? I do that myself. Where you make Kiddush. You say the Borei Pri Hagafen Bracha, and maybe a little bit more, but the main part is you say the Borei Pri Hagafen Bracha, and you drink your first cup of grape juice, not wine. Well, for you. Next, after Kaddish goes Orchatz. Orchatz, you wash your hands. Now, you're not going to say a blessing when you wash your hands. You just wash your hands. You do not say the blessing of Netilas Yadayim, because it gets you're really washing your hands so you can eat the karpas. Karpas is a vegetable, not the bitter vegetable yet, but a vegetable. Some people use potatoes. In my house, we use parsley. My daughter drew this picture. Isn't it nice? So in my house, we use parsley. It's like a little leafy plant. You dip it into salt water. The salt water reminds you of the tears that the Jewish people cried when they were in Egypt, because a lot of, pretty much everything we do in the Seder has to do with either being slave or being free from being a slave. So this reminds us of when we were a slave. Eating the salt water reminds us of the tears that the Jews were crying. So after we say the blessing, we say a Borei Pri Hadama on the karpas, which has to do because it's a vegetable. Then we go into Yachatz. Yachatz, the person who's running the Seder has 3 matzahs. So he would break the middle matzah, either round or square, depending on what your family does. Break the middle matzah, and they hide that away for later for the afikomen. And in my house, in my parents' house, what my mother would do is my father would take the afikomen, he'd slide it under the table to my mother, which was so obvious, and my mother would take it and be like, oh, I have to go into the kitchen, and hide it behind her back. Then all of a sudden you hear all the cabinets opening and closing, lots of noise, and she comes back, okay, I'm back. But we all know what she was really doing. She was hiding that afikomen. And then we spend a lot of the other time looking for the afikomen. So we have Yachatz. Then comes Magid, which is the longest part of the Seder. Magid has the 4 questions, the Manishtana, which is on a different video. So we start with the youngest person in the family does it. In my house, it's not just the youngest, it's the youngest, and then it works its way up to as many people as want to do it. And it's fun. If you have time to Google it, try doing it. Maybe someone in your house who's older could look and try to do it in a different language. It's very cool. There are plenty of things on the internet. Also during this time, they do the song Avadim Hayinu, which Amichai sang with us yesterday. We talk about the 10 plagues. The 10 plagues, which are Dam Sefadea, Kinim, Arov, Dever, Shechin, Barad, Arba, Choshech, Makat, Becharot, which I believe I talked about on the other video. And the way we do it in my house is during each plague, when we say the Hebrew thing, whether we say it in Hebrew or English, will be like blood or dam. Take a dot, put our finger lightly into the grape juice, and then dot it onto the plate. We might not want to get the germs in it this year, but that's the idea. We do the 10 plagues, and then we talk about the song Dayenu is in there. Dayenu, Dayenu, Dayenu. You know what I'm talking about. So that's a great song. And also, this is when we drink our second cup of grape juice / wine. So that is a really long part of the Seder. It's really exciting in the beginning, and the end, the Dayenu part is amazing. It's just very long. It's our longest part. In my house, anyways. Then there's so we do Magid, then we do Rachsa. We wash our hands, and this time we say the blessing. Okay? Because we are washing our hands, saying Al Netilas Yadayim, because we're getting ready to eat our matzah. So we have Rachsa, then we have Motzi Matzah, where they use from the other matzah, they break off pieces, and if we have to use extra matzah from the table, we use that, and everybody eats a certain amount of matzah. Now, a lot of the parts, besides reminding us when it's slaves, I said it reminds us when we're free, and we're also supposed to be like kings. So one of the things we do in my family is we have pillows, and we put a pillow behind us, and we relax. But also, when we do certain things that remind us about when we're free, we lean to the left. And it's supposed to be like that's what kings do, or queens. That's what we do. So for motzi matzah, as we eat a matzah, after we say the hamotzi lachem min aretz, after we say the bracha, we eat our matzah, but we're leaning to the side. And same thing when we're drinking our cups of grape juice, we're also leaning to the side. But when we're eating something like this, which is our next part, maror, we don't lean when we're eating maror, because that's not the fun part of the Seder, and that's reminding us of when we were slaves. Okay, so I have maror. We have either horseradish, which we use in my house, but we also use this. It's like romaine lettuce, a type of lettuce, and usually that's me because I like to eat the horseradish, and it's very, very bitter. So you see those tears? I'm not really crying. I mean, maybe my eyes are just leaking salt water. I'm not really sure why. Then after maror goes, just like we're like, oh gosh, I finished that maror, and my father used to give us a lot. Then goes into korech. We have more maror, but this time it's in a matzah sandwich, and I heard a lot of people actually like this. They said it's one of their favorite parts of the Seder. They get to eat the maror inside between two pieces of matzah. So for this one, we lean, I believe, for eating this one, because it's better than just the regular maror. The sandwich is a way of saying, like, more king or queen wise and being free. After maror, so we go maror, korech, and then comes shulchan aruch. Shulchan aruch, my daughter again drew this wonderful picture, is the meal. But really, at that point, I'm full for matzah, I'm full for maror, I'm kind of just full from everything, from drinking 2 cups of grape juice. It's just like my stomach is already full. But we try our best to eat. It's kind of like a Shabbat meal, but no bread, just matzah. After Shulchan Aruch is, if the kids are still up, which we hope they are, we do tzafon. Tzafon has the afikomen. That's when, in my house, we start bargaining to get the afikomen back. I say, who has my afikomen? So if my son has it, he'll be like, I have the afikomen. I'm like, oh, okay, give it to me. He's like, well, what are you going to give me? I'm like, I will give you a big thank you. Okay, now give me the matzah. It's like, no. I'm like, I will give you a smile. And he's like, no. And then I'll say, well, what do you want? And then he might say, well, I want $1 million. Then I'll be like, no. And then we keep bargaining for what he wants. And eventually I'll say I'll buy him something, because we really need that afikomen for the end of the Seder. I happen to like that part. I've seen in other houses where the parents go to look for the afikomen. Either way, it's a lot of fun. I really like that part. Then you eat the afikomen, and again, you're leaning when you eat the matzah. And usually after you wash and you have bread or matzah, borech means you say berchat hamazon, which is the blessing after you have some type of bread. And after berchat hamazon, I believe. After that, then we open the door for Eliyahu Hanavi, which is Elijah the prophet. We open the door to let him in. It's very symbolic. You don't actually see someone coming in, but my brother used to like to shake the table, say, look, because we have a special cup for Eliyahu, for the cup of Elijah. We have it up on our table, and he would shake the table, and then it looks like the grape juice is moving, and then we're like, oh, look, he's drinking from the grape juice. Who really knows? I'm not really sure how it works. But we also drink our 3rd cup of wine. So we say a blessing, we drink our 3rd cup of wine or grape juice. After Baruch comes Hallel. we sing songs to Hashem, to God. You like the music notes? Look at that. And we drink our fourth cup of grape and final cup of grape juice. Then comes the last part, which is Nirtza. Halacha has a lot of songs, but Nirtza, we pretty much finish up. We talk about next year in Yerushalayim. In Hebrew, it's Lashana Haba Yerushalayim. And we say next year should we be able to have our Pesach celebration in Jerusalem, in Yerushalayim, in Israel. So that's the Seder. But during that Nirtza, there's some other songs. I didn't put it on there, but there's some songs. One of the songs is about a goat. I don't like goats, but whatever, that's another story. But it's a song about goats and selling a goat for 2 coins and something happens and then, okay. So that you could ask your parents about or grandparents about. There's also the song that Amichai sang with us the other day, which was where you go, who knows one? I know one. One is Hashem, one is Hashem, one is Hashem in the heavens and the earth. And then it goes, who knows two? And we talk, and it's a good song. It goes 13 of them. There's 13 things that we know, like who knows 13. But we did a music class, we did the first 7. And that pretty much finishes up our Seder. It might end pretty late, and it's going to be a long Seder, but it's really enjoyable. We get to do it twice a year. We do it at first night of Pesach, which I believe is Wednesday night. Then we do it again on Thursday night. And that's our Pesach Seder. Remember, guys, do your best. Try to say those 4 questions. Try to sing some songs. Have lots of fun. Enjoy. Look for that afikomen. And I hope to see you guys back in school soon. Have a happy Pesach. Bye.